Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Vedic Psychology, Manas again. So this is our last class on Manas. Okay? So what we're going to do today is I'm going to review the main points from last time, and then we're going to do two different exercises today. Spot the Manas characteristics, and then a mind type survey. And then I'm going to talk about peace, passion, and passivity. 3 P's. And then I'm going to open it up for questions and kind of like a group discussion. Okay? So last time we talked about Sattvasizing your senses, right? And we talked through some examples and some people shared. And so the idea was to increase the sattvic inputs, choose one sense, and then increase your sattvic inputs every day. Increase one more for that sense, right? And then I showed that plan. And then decrease one rajasic input each day, and then decrease one tamasic input each day. So that was one of the main points we talked about. And then the other one was having an accountability ally, where you meet with that person, you share your goals, you share your obstacles to your success, right? You support each other, you troubleshoot. And the main thing is you hold each other accountable. So sometimes when you're trying to implement something new in your life, it's much better when you have somebody to do it with, who's trying to reach the same goals or work on the same thing. So those were the two main takeaways from last time, main points. This time we're going to spot the Manas characteristics, okay? So we're going to start off with reviewing just really quickly what are some of the characteristics of Manas, because we've been doing this class for so long, right? And I don't know if you can see that, but this cat is in jail because he stole the Christmas turkey. Turkey's a bird, like a chicken, and at Christmas time often families will make that. And some cats, if you leave it on the table, they'll just get up and they'll walk away with it in their mouth, you know? So some of the characteristics of Manas. So remember how we talked about Manas as a blank movie screen? So it looks like that, okay? In terms of an analogy, it's like a blank movie screen. So in its normal state, it's sattvic. But the problem is we always have inputs coming in from our 5 senses, right? To start with, from our 5 senses. And everything coming in, we did those 5 classes on each sense. Everything coming into those senses were like, disliking. So all day long, it's being bombarded with things through our 5 senses that are getting projected onto this screen of Manas. So it basically never looks like that, unless you're like some highly elevated yogi. But otherwise, pretty much we're reacting all day long to like and dislike. And then on top of that, internally, we have samskaras that are also getting projected onto our screen of Manas. That's why if you're sitting there trying to do some meditation, and you're like, why isn't this working? There's nothing disturbing me, but why am I so disturbed? Because sometimes your samskaras are getting projected onto that screen of Manas, and you're getting troubled by that. So Manas in itself, there's nothing wrong. It's not doing any of that. It's just the receiver of all of that. And so anyway, this makes Manas very sensitive, right? Because when anything is coming, there's always something coming, right? And it makes it very emotional, very turbulent, and very unsteady. Very unsteady, which we all saw, right? Just in one class when you're trying to taste different things. You can be like, oh, disgusting, I'm going to throw up, or oh my God, that tastes so good, just from a taste, So we really focused in just on how unsteady and emotional and turbulent and sensitive Manas is. So that's a quick review of the characteristics that we kind of saw in real life experience, right? And here's some more subtle points about Manas that I think are important, because I didn't present them so clearly as I was talking before. So I'm going to pull this out, because starting next class when we meet, we're going to go into Ahankara. So I want to pull out the difference a little bit between Manas and Ahankara, okay? So Manas does not have the ability to act. No matter how much it hates it or how much it likes it, it can't act on it. It's just like, ew, I hate it, ew, I like it, but it can't do anything. The acting agent is Ahankara, okay? So Ahankara gives the person this agency to act. That's what Ahankara does. And the moody Manas is the one that drives it to act. So they work together like a pair of dumb criminals, basically. There's no really analysis. It's just like Manas is like, ew, I hate that. And Ahankara is like, you hate that? And then it kicks it. That's it. Oh, I love that. You love that? Go get it. doesn't matter if you trample on someone to get it. So ahankara acts based on what manas is liking or disliking. Okay? And then on top of that, manas drives. Remember before on one of the slides I was saying manas just does whatever it wants, whenever it wants, however it wants. I was saying that. Manas doesn't really do that. Manas drives ahankara to do that. So manas is just the feeling of like or dislike all the time. But it drives ahankara to do what it wants, when it wants, and how it wants. So I just wanted to tease those apart so you don't get confused when we start going into ahankara. And it's like, wait a minute, I thought that was manas. So manas is just that screen with receiving likes and dislikes all day long, and from some scars or from its own reactions to the senses. And ahankara is the one who's acting based on that, okay? Another subtle point that I don't think I made, but I was talking kind of like it was just manas, but it's not really. So one day in the future when we get into buddhi, you'll see that buddhi is our intelligence, and buddhi gives us the ability to do all of the things on this list that I'm going to read. But manas can block buddhi's ability for doing it. So if manas gets too emotional, if we're getting triggered by something, then we can't deliberate. Remember that story I told about my sister and the light bulb and leaving the light on? We can't deliberate upon the unintended consequences before acting. Manas has no ability to do that. And manas can block buddhi's ability to do it if it's way too, really having a strong dislike about something or a strong like. It's like what we would call the manas very strong and we call the buddhi very weak. So if your buddhi is not very, you haven't developed the muscles of like mind control with your buddhi, then you can't control basically the very strong manas who's just like go for it, or do that thing, or don't do that. I'm too scared, So buddhi is the one that enables you to think through options. Should I do that or not? Should I move? Like for me, when I was quite young, when I got into college, I was 19, and I lived on the East Coast in New Hampshire. But the college I got into was on the West Coast in California. And I was very close to my family. It was about 3,000 miles away, and I didn't know a soul there. The only reason I wanted to go there was because it was warm and sunny, and I hated the snow and the cold of where I lived, which was practically Canada. I could not take it. It was so depressing. And so it wasn't a great decision, actually, that I made. But I was making out of a strong dislike for cold and for snow, and I just felt really depressed. And I honestly, my criteria for college was like, I want to live in a place where I can wear flip-flops all year round. I just don't want to be cold. I was basically traumatized by the winter. So that's not a great decision. And I really wish that my father and mother were a little more involved in my decision-making. They were like a little bit more like, maybe you shouldn't make it on just the weather. Maybe you should. I ended up going to a good college because I got good grades, but still, I probably would have made a different choice. And I was desperately homesick, actually, the whole year. All those years I was in California. I was very, very homesick. It was really, really hard for me. So that's an example of not thinking through options and making a very emotional decision that cost me like a lot of years that I never actually got back to being close with my family in the way that I was all those years, So that's a decision that shows that it was just like my really moody manas, and my buddhi couldn't think through really these unintended consequences of that huge decision, and thinking through those options. Manas also, basically with manas, you get these strong urges, and then buddhi doesn't control, and then you just act on them. Ahankara helps you act on them quickly, So it's buddhi's job to control the urges, to say, no, hold on, that's not a good idea, let's practice some deep breathing or whatever it is that we learn to control these urges, which are driven by very strong feelings in manas. Manas has no ability to introspect or feel remorse or feel empathy or be humble or take responsibility for one's behavior. That's why I keep showing the cat. The cat doesn't care. It'll just bite the mouse and it'll be proud. It'll put the dead mouse on your doorstep. Like, look, I killed something. So these are all functions or characteristics of buddhi. But what I'm trying to say is that buddhi can't do these things if manas is too emotional. It overfloods the buddhi. So buddhi has to be a very strong state of sattva to be able to control all the time, like the reins of the horse, trying to control this really strong manas. Okay? So now that was just a little background. So now when we do this exercise, you can think of all the characteristics you even experienced yourself with your likes and dislikes when we were doing the 5 senses. and what we just reviewed on Manas characteristics, and maybe some characteristics I didn't even mention, but you can see that it's probably the moody Manas who's just acting spontaneous and a little bit crazy, okay? So if you have a pen and paper, you can take a few notes. I'm going to show you 5 different very short video clips. And if you want, you can just remember, but if you feel like writing it down, and look for any characteristics you see in Manas, because this is our last class on Manas, and this is kind of like a test of how much you've digested or understood about Manas, okay? All right, let's hope the internet's strong enough for the video to work. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. I'll play it again, it's really short. So for those of you who celebrate Christmas, that's a Christmas tree there. Oops, what just happened? And the cat, let's see if you can see him. The cat jumped on the tree. You gotta watch it it kind of happens quickly. Okay, here we go, see it? And he pulled the whole tree down. Because he thought one of those little ornaments was cute. And now he's pulling another thing off. Okay? So think about what characteristics of Manas that cat might be showing to us. Write it down. At the end, we're going to have like a group discussion and end question and answer. But just think of what characteristics of Manas. And if anybody needs paper, just let me know, because there's some people with paper if you don't want to write it on your... You want paper? Kamala, or can somebody give him paper? Or Gloria Giovanna? Thank you. What characteristics of Manas did the cat have who saw the little shiny thing and jumped on the tree and pulled the whole tree down? You know how long it takes to decorate a tree like that? Hours, right? Maybe there's some glass ornaments that broke. He doesn't care. The Christmas cats. What characteristics of Manas did you see that cat had?
Maybe I missed something. Are there specific characteristics of Manas, or is it just what we feel about it?
The ones I just reviewed. The slides I just did. So Manas always starts with like and dislike, right? So it probably liked the tree. It wouldn't have run up to it and pulled the thing off of it, right? So that's the first one. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. Ready? Ready? Did you have a question, Malika? Or? No. Okay, you ready for the next video? They're very short, so get ready. Here's the next one. Oh, hold on, why can't where's the volume? How do I play the volume on this? I have my laptop off, but if I turn it on, will it do that echoing thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Last time we had some solution.
We can mute and unmute that
Okay, so that's the cat doing that. Then the next one is a very vocal cat. I wish I could. So if
if you turn on the speaker, I think it's fine.
Let's try. Okay, I'll turn it off very quickly if it's not. Hold on. Can I pause that? Okay, hold on. And put it back. That one there was actually no volume, but this one there is. I mean, no sound. Okay, so I can turn the thing on. Shoot. Okay.
Yes, very much. So
Oh yeah.
leave computer audio.
Okay.
And I think, and maybe there's some speaker.
Huh? Can we turn it up? Yeah. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Listen to the cat. Oh shoot. It's. Wait, Vilas, so when it's done, then can you help me put it back how it's supposed to be, or what should I do?
With the arrow keys, you can jump back and forth.
No, I mean, how do I fix can I leave the volume exactly how it is for the rest of the presentation?
Yep.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Okay, did you guys see that? Think of what characteristics of manas that might be. So what is that cat showing you in terms of characteristics of manas? Is it okay, Vilas? Okay. All right, let's look at the next one and see.
Hey! It's your reflection, you idiot!
How does that have to do with manas, do you think?
Hey! It's your reflection, you idiot!
How does that have to do with manas? Once you start learning about manas, you can see it in everyone, and you can see it in everything. That's why I'm trying to, I've been talking about cats for weeks, so try to apply it to these and see what you understand about manas is this cat doing. Okay? All right. How about this one?
İlaç yaptı. Ben bir şey yapmadım. İlaç yaptı. İlaç yaptı. İlaç yaptı.
Wow, I'm going to go check once again.
Watch it again.
Please, please.
The cat and the avocado. What do you think? How does that cat show us anything about manas? Okay, one last one.
Biraz sinirlenecek. Evet. Evet yandı. Yandı. Evet ilaç yaptı. Ben bir şey yapmadım. Kızma hayır ben bir şey yapmadım. Ben bir şey yapmadım. İlaç yaptı. İlaç yaptı. Ben bir şey yapmadım. Ben bir şey yapmadım. Ben bir şey yapmadım. Kızma çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Küfür ediyorsun. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. İlaç yaptı. Ben bir şey yapmadım. İlaç yaptı. İlaç yaptı. İlaç yaptı.
So the doctor was giving him an injection. So remember, here's some of the things. You can tell that Manas is at work if you see any of these things. Manas is blocking Buddhi's ability to do these things, so then you can see that it's like Manas, right? Can't control urges, doesn't think through options, doesn't make good decisions, doesn't feel remorse or empathy. Acting in spontaneous ways, pursues what it likes, avoid what it dislikes, drives the ahankara to get what it wants, when it wants, how it wants. There's a video that you might have seen that with that. Manas is very sensitive, emotional, turbulent, unsteady. Okay, so these are all of these things that are here somehow. See if you can see them in those cat videos, okay? So now, let's go to the first one. Does anyone want to share what you saw in that first, what Manas characteristic or characteristics you saw in the first one of the cat ripping down the tree? Okay, you have the mic? This thing is not letting me move forward.
I like, I want.
Huh?
I like, I want.
Okay.
Manas. Without discrimination. I like that, I want it.
Okay.
And this is without considering the consequence.
Okay. So like, that was a sense of like.
Like.
And I want.
And I want.
Okay. Anyone else want to share what you saw in Manas there? Madhavi?
I guess the eyesight of the cat was activated because it's a bright, shiny decoration.
Yeah. So the sense, so his eyesight was, I mean, it could have been all the senses, but it definitely sight, right? Because he's like, ooh, look at that sparkly thing. And then he's like, right? Then he went for it, right? Ahankara helped him to go for it. Good. So sense of like through the sense of sight, which is more specific, right? So you said like, but then you said like through the sense of sight, which is good. What else did you see out of all those Manas characteristics? What else? Anything else? Vilas?
No deliberation.
No deliberation, right?
I mean, this is a very unstable construction there. It's like here, right?
So no deliberation. He's like, ooh, I see, I like, I want, I'm gonna get it. And he doesn't care, you know, and he just runs and he like jumps and then the whole tree falls down, and, you know. So no deliberation on his actions, right? What else? What other characteristics? Okay, you want to give the mic to Jaya? Is it working?
Can you press it slightly down, like this?
It's a moody mic. Moody Manas, moody mic.
Irresponsible.
Irresponsible. Very, right? If anybody's in the classroom, can somebody tell me, because I can't see that. If anybody has their hand up, no? Okay. Any other characteristics you saw? Do you think it had empathy? You think the cat had empathy? No. You want to pass it back to Jaya? Or you want to say something?
Yes, selfish.
Selfish, totally. He was like, "Ooh, look at the shiny thing." It could have been like $100 Christmas ornament that came in the family generations, right? And he doesn't care. You know, it's like an heirloom, you know? Just rips the whole thing down, right? Selfish. Were you going to say something back there? No?
Just lack of empathy.
Lack of empathy, okay.
Yeah, I just was amazed at how mind makes the cat blind.
Blind.
So blind. So he saw the light that the curiosity just overwhelmed him. I wanted. It's something attractive, and everything is forgotten.
Yeah.
So just I go for that, and then it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and
doesn't matter.
Nothing else matter.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't deliberate on consequences, doesn't care how he affects other people, you know, doesn't care, no empathy, right? Selfish, spontaneous is another characteristic, right? Spontaneous. Okay, good job.
But this one, how to say it, 100% concentration on thing.
Yeah.
That's also very
Yeah,
interesting.
that's not a quality of manas. So stick to the qualities of manas. That manas is. Did you remember me saying that manas helps you concentrate on things?
Yeah.
No, manas does not have that quality. Manas is just like dislike. Buddhi. Buddhi gives you the ability to concentrate. So when we get to buddhi, you can say that one. So we're trying to highlight just what manas is doing, and kind of like, I told you ahankara and buddhi as well, but manas is driving them to act in those ways. The other slides I made. But I didn't mention concentration because manas doesn't have that. It's just like, dislike. Then, yeah, I already said spontaneous. Okay. So no one in the classroom wants to say anything? Nobody has their hand up? No. Okay. So how about this one? What characteristics of manas is this? What characteristic? Try to say one that we haven't said yet. We have to use the mic so everybody can hear.
Thinking of the bed as its own territory and not letting others in.
What characteristic of manas is that?
I'm not able to remember the word for it. I'm sorry.
I didn't talk about that in manas.
Oh, okay. I missed the last class, so I don't.
I just reviewed them today.
Okay.
What characteristic of manas is this?
I would say there's a lack of humility, because the person there is probably the owner or the friend of the owner, and I mean, the person is feeding the cat every day, and now it's getting that moody, so...
That's a deep insight, okay. Lack of humility, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Use the mic so everybody can hear, please.
Sense of possessiveness.
Okay, did I say that one?
No.
Please, okay, so this is a review of the material that we've been doing for about maybe 6 classes. So try to stick to what you learned from your like and dislike experience. There's one very obvious one that nobody has said. What did we do for the 5 senses every time?
The sound.
Like and dislike, right? And what is that?
Dislike.
Dislike.
Very strong.
Very strong dislike. And what is that?
Emotion.
Hello. You brought your feelings wheel. Look at how big it is right in front of you. This is the most important thing. Manas is moody and emotional. So this cat is yelling and screaming and so angry and running and attacking this girl. That's the main thing I'm trying to show here with manas. And if you can remember only one thing about manas out of all these classes, it's emotional. Forget all the rest of the stuff. So you don't have to try to be too smart and try to be like, oh, it's this and that. It's emotional. And this is an angry cat. So angry it's going to attack a guest and make her scream, So just try to remember the basics first. Manas is not that hard. It's very simple. You don't have to overthink it. That's why I gave you guys all feelings wheels. The main thing about manas is emotional. And all that other stuff relates to the emotions. It makes ahankara act. It clouds buddhi. It's a tsunami of emotions clouding buddhi, right? It's all the other stuff, if you look, it's practically all related to strong feelings. So the main point, and that's why I was focusing so much on, not only is it like dislike, what feeling do you feel every time for those 5 classes, right? So if you're ever in doubt, just remember manas is very emotional and turbulent, okay? So. So when the cat runs, that's ahankara, giving it the agency to act. But first it's pissed off. You can see the anger is building up and then he takes off. Okay, so now how about this one? What did you see about manas? This thing is very weird. I've never really tried to present in Canva, but it keeps going backwards. I'm sorry. So now for the 3rd video. There we go. Oops, the screaming cat. Oh, okay.
It's your reflection,
Thank
you
you.
idiot!
I'll do that now. How about that one?
I would say a lack of introspection.
Yes, exactly. right? He's screaming at someone else when it's really himself. Very good. And what is making him scream? What's making him scream?
The scream makes him scream.
The original first scream. What's making him scream?
The original.
Why is he screaming?
He saw stranger.
Okay, that's what he saw. So something with a sense of sight, and play it out. So when Manas sees something, then dislike.
Insecurity.
Okay, use the mic because this is being recorded and a lot of people will think I'm talking to myself because they won't be able to hear what you guys are saying. Okay.
Insecurity.
Insecurity. So a feeling of insecurity, right? Good. So the way Manas works is something's coming in through a sense, then automatically like, dislike, and then a feeling's related to that. And depending on your level of awareness, you're able to tell what feeling it is. So that's very good. That's a high sense of awareness to actually be able to decipher the feeling, right? And remember how Babaji's always saying the path of Bhakti Yoga, it's all about awareness. So you have to be have a high awareness of yourself, especially your feeling. Because we're going to try to spiritualize those feelings, right? So we better know what they are. We better know if it's like or dislike and then what it is. That's why I'm harping on those points. And it's easier to see it in someone else first. That our eyes are looking out. So if we can see it in a cat, it's kind of an easier example. Then you can start watching the more subtle, your own mind. And seeing, okay, what is it like, dislike, and what's the feeling? And then you can see how it makes it act. So you're seeing the final result, it's screaming at itself. But all the other stuff that happened before, it saw itself. Like, imagine that it was blind. It wouldn't be acting like that, right? Because it wouldn't see itself in the mirror. Or if you put a curtain over the mirror, like a black sheet or something over the mirror, it wouldn't be doing that. So it's seeing itself. It thinks it's another cat. It has a strong sense of dislike, because cats don't usually like each other. It starts screaming out of a sense of insecurity. What other feelings do you think it might be having that would make it do that? It's insecure because maybe it thinks that cat is very close and it might attack it. But what other feeling would a cat have that would make it do that, do you think?
Irritated.
Irritated, yeah. I'm angry. Like, you're in my area. This is my bathroom. How did you even get here? Right? Vilas? Good comment.
I would say it's even hostile. Right?
Hostile? Feeling hostile? Right. Yeah.
Really aggressive.
Yeah. Aggressive and hostile and about to attack, right? Okay, so now I'm going to use my arrow key. So think about Manas. What is going on in this situation? Let's trace it out. What's the first thing that happened? Huh? What? Use the mic if you want to. Use the mic, please, if you want to talk.
Fridge door opening, the sound and sight. Problem.
Okay, so the cat heard this. Very good. The cat heard. Okay, ooh, that's the fridge. That's the fridge, and then that's like, because that's where my food is. Okay. Then what happened? What did the cat do?
Jump. So I think.
So based on its like, it said, "Ooh, I like it. I want it." And the ahankara said, "Let's go."
I think he knew what's inside and where, because his action were very precise. His jump was very precise.
He knew where the avocado was.
So he remembered where the avocado was. He saw it already, and he planned it already.
That's very funny. So he's saying he knew where the avocado was. He didn't just jump, because did you see it was half of an avocado, which means maybe he had gotten the other half the day before or something, right? So he knew where his mommy put it, right there, and as soon as the door opens, he went, that's a very good observation.
Like an arrow.
Like an arrow. Yeah, he went for that avocado. Okay, Vilas. So we said, so one of the symptoms is that we saw characteristics like, so we got that down, through the sense of hearing first and then maybe sight. Okay. And then Vilas, what were you going to say? Then he acted. Do you want to add to that, or do you want to say a different characteristic?
I would say even the feeling hungry.
Feeling hungry? Okay,
hungry.
Good.
He was hungry for this avocado.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Another feelings might be enthusiasm, like some zeal to, yes, I go there.
And, felt very excited and passionate.
Yes.
Woo! Avocado. Because he was not calm about that avocado. It looked like he hadn't eaten in like a year or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I want to say two more things. So I think it's also here we see the egoism. Like, it's...
Mine.
Exactly.
Okay.
I want it.
Yeah.
And I agree with you here in the front row that it knew where it is, because, I mean, how is it possible? They had two camera positions, right?
Yeah.
So they had the camera placed inside, so they had trained the cat to jump there. Otherwise, why is the camera
Okay,
on?
so that's your booty and that's the cat's booty. It's good, but the cat, to know where it is not a function of manas, you know?
Of course.
And so that's the booty, you know, because manas liked it so much, booty remembered. So that's good, and that's a samskara, all that. But the main point is sticking on manas, okay? Kamala, if you want the mic, you got the mic? Okay, go ahead, Kamala, you go first and then...
Strong desire.
Desire, very
desire.
good. So
Control. You cannot control the desire.
Very good. Strong desire, which overshadowed Buddhi's ability to control. Very good.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Lack of control due to intense desire. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Manas gone wild. Anything else in terms of the other qualities? Remember, manas doesn't have the ability to think about how it affects other people. That cat could have literally probably just been in the litter box. You know how disgusting that is? Like going poop or pee in the litter and then dirty paws and then jumping in the fridge and putting its dirty poop, pee paws all over the human food. It doesn't care. It's not thinking about that.
No deliberation.
No deliberation.
No deliberation.
Yeah, no deliberation. No deliberation. And did you see how it also doesn't have the empathy? It's not wondering like, oh, does my owner maybe want half the avocado? Like a human, even if we wanted that, we'd be more, if our booty's working, we'd be more polite about it. Like, oh, are you eating that? Oh, you're not? Okay, would you mind if I have some? Like, even if inside we're feeling all the stuff that the cat is feeling, right? We wouldn't act like that. Yes.
I would say there were like two actions. First, just hunting for avocado, but there was the second part of the play. That's I want to eat as much as possible until it will be gotten out from me.
Yeah, it was a very aggressive eating, wasn't it? It was like, so that's like a...
When he already was caught, he tried to eat as much as possible.
That's very funny, right? So that's manas. Doesn't care. It's going to keep going. Yeah, very good. Okay, let's do one more. How about this one? Remember the cat and the doctor?
Evet. Evet yandı. Yandı. Evet ilaç yaptı. Ben bir şey yapmadım. Kızma hayır ben bir şey yapmadım. Ben bir şey yapmadım. İlaç yaptı. İlaç yaptı. Ben bir şey yapmadım. Ben bir şey yapmadım. Ben bir şey yapmadım. Kızma çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Küfür ediyorsun. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. Çok ayıp. İlaç yaptı. Ben bir şey yapmadım. İlaç yaptı. İlaç yaptı. İlaç yaptı.
Okay.
The cat is scared and frightened.
Scared and frightened, yeah.
And that's why it's trying to defend itself.
Very good. He's scared and he's frightened. So that's manas, dislike, feeling, scared, frightened. Behavior, try to defend himself, right? Okay, good. What else? Vilas.
I think there's no deliberation really what is good for the cat, because there's probably some vaccine or something, beneficial.
Exactly. Welcome to my life as a therapist. This is how it feels many days. Okay, so did somebody say something? There's somebody in the chat. I don't know if they're writing a response or if they want to raise their hand. No, from before. Okay, good. So, and did you see how sensitive the cat is? Like the guy gave the injection for 2 seconds. It was like beep, and the cat is still going off for like 20 seconds. It's like, it's maybe not even hurt. It's just aggravated, it's pissed off, and it can't control the anger. Because we had said the turbulent, it's volatile. Manas is volatile, it's turbulent. So even if one little thing happened, it's like throwing a pebble in the water and making all these ripples. And so I wanted you to see that the cat is still going off, even though the thing... the doctor, I had to watch it a few times because I didn't even think he gave the injection. I thought that he didn't give it because the cat was too upset, but he actually went and he gave it that fast. So the rest of this clip is the cat freaking out over something that happened. And this is how manas is, It's going off. It's going off, and it's like totally triggered and turbulent and volatile, angry, frightened, on and on over something that happened like back there and small. And then he wants to beat the guy up too, so he was angry too, right? Okay. Good job, you guys. I think you got manas down. I'm going to keep going because we only have not too much time, and I want to do the next part, okay? I want to do the mind type survey. So this survey, So that was our kind of warm-up. So this survey, Babaji and I wrote this survey. It's only 9 questions, so it's not thorough. Like at Pierre Chatal and other times, I don't know if you remember Rāsa-līlā, we had like a longer one. This is just a very short one to get a snapshot of your mind, basically like how it is right now. It's not the most, it's just kind of a quick and easy one, just to give you a snapshot, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the 9 questions, and for each one, just pick the answer that best describes you, kind of like in the time frame of the last few days or the last week. It's not like how you are in your whole life, you know, just like a little snapshot of how you are now, okay? And then just write down A, B, or C. So you can write on your paper 1 through 9, and then you just write A, B, or C, which one it is. It's pretty simple, okay? So how do you currently feel about your life? A, B, or C, none of these might apply to you. You might be like, none of them, I feel D, but that's not an option. So pick the one that's closest to how you feel, okay? It might be an 80% match or a 70% match. This is the closest to how you feel. A, my life is boring. I don't have many things going on. B, it's exciting. I have so many things to gain and I love new adventures. C, it's amazing. I have many opportunities in my life and I'm very grateful for that. A, B, or C, whatever's closest matches to what's going on for you, how you feel about your life now. Okay? Okay. 2. How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? When you first wake up? A, I feel exhausted. I just want to stay in bed and I want to sleep in. B, I feel a bit tired, but give me a cup of coffee or chai and I am ready to go. C, I feel rested and I'm ready to take on a new day. Now, a few of you in this room at least have traveled recently, so this may not apply to you. So think of before you traveled, like whatever, the week before you traveled, how you were, okay? Because if you're jet lagged or something, this is not going to be an appropriate question for you. Okay, number 3, do you meditate? A, no, it doesn't really work for me. B, yes, sometimes, but my mind cannot stay still. C, yes, it's part of my daily practice. I love connecting with myself on a deeper level. Okay. 4, what is the first thought that comes to your mind whenever you face a serious problem? A, I give up. I'm never going to get out of this. Remember, it's the first thought. Later on, you may have a second thought that's different, but the very first thing that you think when you face a serious problem. I give up. I'm never going to get out of this. B, why me? It's not my fault. This is so unfair. C, I've got this. What a good opportunity for me to practice mindfulness. And if you don't believe in mindfulness, you could fill in the blank with something else. What a good opportunity for me to blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. But, okay? How's the pace? Am I going too fast for anybody? Pace is okay? Okay. 5. How do you feel when someone gives you a compliment? A, doubtful. B, awesome. C, neutral. Okay. 6. What color shirt are you wearing right now? A, dark blue, like a black color, a brown or gray. B, bright and colorful, like a pattern or a print or bright colors. Or C, white or pastel. What color are you wearing right now? You can say white.
I say red.
Red. Yeah, red.
I say pastel.
You got dark. No cheating. Dark. It's whatever the thing is that's the covering. He's like, what? Okay. Okay. 7. Who do you express kindness to? I'm kind to my friends. I'm kind to most people because I know how to behave in public situations. Or I'm kind to everyone, my friends, my enemies, because the world needs more kindness. What one can you say is most, I know this is tricky because you could be like, well, it depends, but just pick the one that most resonates with you for how you've been in the past week or so, not in life. Because we're trying to get a snapshot of your mind type now. It could have been different a month ago or a year ago. But how is it just now? How are you doing on this one? Okay. Everybody ready? Number 8. What is your life's purpose? I'm not sure. A, I'm not sure. B, I'm searching for my life's purpose. Or C, I have a clear sense of my life's purpose. Okay, last but not least, number 9. What's your daily routine like? A, it's not very regulated. I don't follow the same routine every day. Or B, it's hard to follow the same routine every day because I have so many things to do. Or C, it's very regulated. I do the same things at the same time every day. So the first person does not follow the same routine every day. The second one, it looks like they're trying, but it's hard because they've got so much to do. And then the third one, like clockwork. Same thing, same time every day. Okay? Everybody got their answers down? So now go ahead and add up. How many A's did you get? How many B's did you get? And how many C's did you get? And the total should come to 9 because there's only 9 questions. Everybody got their number? What you got the highest of? Maybe someone's tied with 2, but go ahead and circle the one you've got the highest of, A, B, or C, and then we'll see what that means. Okay, so if you got the most A, that's tamas, passive. If you got the most B, that's rajas, passionate. And if you got the most C, that's sattva, peaceful. That means predominantly. I mean, we have to have all 3 to be alive, right? All 3 of those. And that's why I'm saying just your snapshot of time now in the past week or so, here's what it is. And like I said, this may not be the perfect survey that's capturing everything because we only have 9 questions. It's not that it's been statistically tested and validated. It's just a kind of a fun thing for you to play with. You can take other ones online as well that might be more exhaustive and really get into it. And you can also study yourself. Just study the gunas and see which one you might be. But the idea is to see what one you are so you can figure out where you stand and then we're trying to get you into sattva. So if you're in tamas, Krishna Das last time was asking about this. If you're in tamas right now, then you have to go to rajas first before you can get to sattva. So then you'd have to rajasize a sense, not sattvasize a sense, right? And if you're in rajas, then you've got to move to sattva. Even if you're in sattva, you can move up even more. If you're like, okay, I'm sattva, great. But then you can figure out what things are not sattva. What things, what can you still increase? Okay? So peace is sattva, passion is rajas, and passivity or being passive is tamas. Okay? So here are some qualities of a sattvic mind. Calm, clear, careful, self-aware, compassionate, empathetic, studious, they like to study, precise, clear and precise. You know, when they ask a question, it's short, to the point, clear. Or when they make a statement, they know what they want and they can say it in a clear, precise way. And purposeful. Everything they're doing is on purpose. They have a goal, they know what it is, and they're moving towards that goal in a very clear way. And they're light, physically and mentally. Okay, so those are just 10 characteristics of a sattvic mind. There's so many, but just to give you an idea of some that Babaji and I put together to check yourself, because the survey may say one thing and then these characteristics may say something else. So it's a good way to check. Okay, so then in terms of rajas, we've got a passionate. So this is like kung fu, karate, like active. Rajas is very active, right? Competitive, controlling, rageful or angry, restless, they always have to be moving, excited and active. They're very intense, scattered, sometimes after a conversation with somebody in Rajas, you're like, whoo, your head is spinning. They didn't finish this, or what are they doing about that? Or it feels a little like hectic or chaotic. But it also can feel exciting after a conversation. Creative, that's a really good quality of Rajas. They're very creative, right? Because to have that energy always going, they can think of things that maybe someone more sattvic and purposeful and has the routine, they maybe not going to color outside the line so much, but the Rajasic one will have more creative ideas, right? Possessive and jealous, those are some of the negative qualities. Okay? So you can see it's a nice mix. Being Rajas is not bad. That's how we get anything done in the whole world. No Rajas, no action. Both Sattva and Tamas sit for different reasons. The Sattvic person is happy meditating all day long, or writing, or, they just like to be, or reading, being quiet by themselves. And then the Tamasic person is happy and sleeping, or, watching TV or something, but they both don't move. It takes Rajas for us to get anything done in life. So that's why we put positive qualities in here too. We really need Rajas. Rajas is the one that moves Sattva, even. If you're 100% Sattvic, then you're just going to be probably like off in a corner meditating all day. You won't want to engage with people. You wouldn't even want to teach a class. That'd be a bother to you, So Rajas is actually quite good for what we're trying to do in life, which is something. Everybody's trying to do something. Okay? Tamas is good too, actually. So Tamas, if Tamas is more passive, heavy physically, heavy mentally, you feel heavy in your head, you feel heavy in your body, you feel confused, like doubtful, I'm not sure about that. That's why one of the things about decision making, it's like, the sattvic decision, it's clear. I know my purpose, I know my goal, I'm doing that. Rajas might say it, but then they're doing like 5 things. It's like, yeah, I do that too, okay, cool, and they might not follow through. But then Tamas is like, I don't know. Should I do that or not? I mean, so-and-so said this, and so-and-so said that, and they might change their mind again, or they actually miss the deadline of something because they can't decide. So there's a heaviness, a confusion. They tend to be on the lazy side, irresponsible, selfish, kind of greedy and selfish, arrogant and proud, insensitive, they don't notice. That's why the cat was a good example of that. You don't notice what you're doing to other people. Especially if you can't think clearly, if your head is dull and heavy, how would you be able to see how you're affecting other people? Unclean, unregulated, right? They don't have a regular routine that they're following, and destructive. But on the positive side, if we don't have enough tamas, we can't sleep. Sattva is so light, it'll be floating off into the clouds if we don't have tamas to weigh us down. So we need all 3 gunas, Tamas is grounding, tamas can help us sleep, so it's not all bad. Tamas has some good qualities too. And actually one thing that I found really interesting when I was learning about the gunas is that with Rajas, if you have too much Rajas and you're like, go, go, go, excited and doing 100 projects and all that, eventually, the tamas will bring you down. The tamas, so that's very interesting. It's sometimes you're not tamasic. You may be feeling that way, but if you look back, rewind back in your life and go, oh, I've been going at 100 miles an hour all year. That's why I'm feeling tamasic, Because, Babaji's always saying we're pretty much in the modes of Rajas and Tamas. We have some sattva, but like a lot of it is Rajas and Tamas, but they play that game. And then if you let Tamas go and you don't do anything about it, eventually Rajas will come. Because how long can you lay in the bed, Unless you get really depressed. But otherwise, eventually, it's like you're laying there, and then have you ever felt like that? Maybe if you were sick for a long time and you're like, oh my God. And then finally when you feel better, you get a spike of energy, you're like, woo! Make my list of things to do or whatever. So Rajas eventually comes, which is also interesting. Those two work together like that. So our goal is to get into that Rajas and then move ourselves right into Sattva. Not 100% though. We want to have a good dose of Rajas to help do our sattvic activities and Tamas to ground us, and so we can sleep. So I just wanted to review those because they'll be, it's a refresher probably for a lot of you, but it's maybe some points are new and it'll help us for the rest of what we're doing. It's the foundation of the mind when we go into the other things, because all the other parts can also be in Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. The Ahankara can be Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic, each part of the mind. So I'll keep reviewing these. So I just wanted to do a little foundation on that, okay? So the next class is not for 3 weeks from today, okay? It's not, so I'm taking a break to Sattvasize myself. So January 13th is the next class, Saturday, January 13th. So you have some time. You can, if you're interested, you could work on Sattvasizing your senses based on what we talked about, based on your snapshot of where you are. You can try to get an accountability ally, somebody to work with and meet with them and pick what sense. That's what we talked about last week too. But I'm just saying you have a gap of time now to maybe, if you're into it, work with somebody on that. And I already kind of gave the plans the last couple of weeks. Okay? So does anybody have any questions? Either we can talk about, Babaji's not teaching tonight, right? I don't think there's class tonight. Yeah. So if you guys want to ask questions or you want to share your experience on Sattvasizing a sense or on your mind type, or you want to ask questions, the floor is open for however you want to use it. Yes, Malika.
I can share that the result was as expected. So it was, when I saw it, I was thinking, yes, makes sense, or that's how I noticed myself the last weeks.
Okay, good. So it was accurate.
Yeah, I think.
Good. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, that was nice, but I would have loved some more sattva, of course, but it mirrors what I observed myself the last weeks.
Good. Very good. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Any questions or what you want to share? Or did anybody do anything over the week, Sattvasizing a sense or having an accountability ally? Or are you thinking about maybe doing that? You need a mic, Natalie? Oh, Vera.
Question.
Yeah.
It's a question about manas. Is the thought preceding the emotion or the other way around?
The like or dislike, or what thought you mean?
Manas is emotional.
Yeah.
Which one is coming first, a thought or the emotion?
The emotion. The thought's coming from another part. So I'm just focusing on the feelings, the emotions.
Can there be an emotion without a thought just before?
Could be.
Can the emotion come without thought?
The emotion of like or dislike is like a raw. When we were doing it, when you did those exercises, those 5 things, did you notice anything about your thought coming or the emotion? I mean, I know it was very subtle, but did you notice? Like, did you notice a thought coming before an emotion?
It seems to me that... It seems to me that there is a thought preceding, but it's very, very quick.
Very quick. That's
I'm
interesting.
not sure.
That's interesting. So did you guys, I'll say it on my mic. So Vera was saying that when she was doing it, she was noticing there's a thought preceding the feeling, but it's very quick. And then there's a feeling, but she's not sure. So she's asking me, and I'm kind of putting back on her, what did she notice? So that's what she's saying. What did anybody else notice when we were doing those 5 senses? Did anybody notice that you had a thought, maybe some sort of thought before you felt? Okay, so you want to give the mic to her?
In other words, can an emotion come without a thought?
Can an emotion come without a thought?
Yeah.
Well, an emotion is a type of thought, right? All emotions are thoughts, something like this. So I'm confused about the question. If you want something, you don't want something, these are all thoughts. But the way the word thought is being used, I think the way Joshika is using it is decision making.
Thinking. Yeah, like what I'm trying to focus on is really actually just the feelings, which is different than an emotion, on the feelings wheel. So first it's like, I like it, and then what is the feeling? And that's basically all I'm focusing on now. So I think your question is, did you notice something maybe, excuse me, very subtle about your mind? And you're asking, and I don't really know. I haven't had that experience. but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So that's why I'm throwing it out to the group. Has anybody else experienced that? You know, maybe your awareness is very subtle and you're noticing that. For me, I just noticed a feeling. You know, I just notice like or dislike, and I have some feeling. And then I have the agency to act. I want that, which would be the thought. In my mind, how I see it. You know, that's and how Babaji kind of explained it to me. But I can ask him again also for clarification on that. Okay? Anyone else want to share or ask? Yes, Kamala?
Yeah, it's about the inner response of a stimulation of the happening in the mind. So mind likes something or dislike, then this dislike coming from an input from outside, and then there is a dislike coming from inside, which is they connect, let's say, these two things, because there is an inner input and an outside input, and both are coming simultaneously into the mind. So then my question is that what really happens that the particular feeling is aggravated or is like exploding or something, or is extreme?
When somebody has an extreme feeling. So I'm going to get to that when I'm going to explain all the parts of the mind, and eventually I'll explain how it all works together as a system. So now what we just did so far with Manas really was just with the five senses.
Okay.
So when we get to the Chitta land and Samskara land, I'm going to go very deep into that. And maybe even I'll do some examples with you guys of having you experience from the class, and then you'll see how the samskara gets triggered and how it matches and all that. Because it's a little complicated, and so I don't want to go so deep into that right away. I was just touching on it, saying that it's not only the likes and dislikes are coming from the five senses, they're also coming from samskaras, but I left it at that because that samskara land is a whole deep field we'll get into eventually. But it's a good question.
Thank you.
Okay. Vilas.
Indra was a question.
Okay. Indra? And then after Laduli.
I'm Joshika. My question, I have a question about spontaneity.
Okay.
Several times I heard on your classes that spontaneity, Manas is spontaneous, and it somehow is a negative feature for the mind. So my question, but there are some professions like actors on the stage, where spontaneity is quite necessary. So my question is, what is the right place of spontaneity, and does it exist in sattvic persons?
Okay, so can you describe a little bit, what do you mean, how an actor is spontaneous?
I mean that the actor trainings are always use these exercises when the actor should react spontaneously on some situation, on some when he meets somebody or something happens or some imaginary situation, and he cannot deliberate, for example, on the stage.
Okay.
I mean like this.
Yeah, okay, I understand. So it's not that they memorize the lines and all that. Yeah. It's just act spontaneously and act it out. Same with music. Sometimes people have like a jam session or something, right? So when it's not planned.
Yeah, right.
And you're saying that's a positive thing if you can act like that, right? That's considered a good quality. But the way we've portrayed Manas is the bad quality, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a good point, because it is a good quality, that spontaneity. But what I'm saying when I say spontaneous is not deliberating upon the consequences. If I was really going to say what that means, you know. So the actor, if the actor was going to be totally spontaneous in the way I'm saying spontaneous, then just say it's a male actor and he sees like a really attractive female, he would just jump on her and have sex. That's what I mean by spontaneous, how I'm defining it. So when you're saying spontaneous and acting, he probably wouldn't do that, but he'd probably be funny. So in other words, he's using his buddhi to stay within the realms of what's appropriate in being spontaneous. Spontaneous in your definition is, okay, you don't go with the lines, you know, but you still have a good dose of buddhi acting there to know what is appropriate and what's not offensive and all that. So when I'm saying being spontaneous in the negative sense, it's like blatant disregard for anybody and everybody, and you just do what you want, who cares? That's what I mean. So maybe that word spontaneous we could think of another word to call it, like spontaneous negative and spontaneous positive, or spontaneous in Sattva, spontaneous in Rajas, spontaneous in Tamas. Excuse me, something like that. But it's good that you're asking for the clarification, because being spontaneous is not always bad, but you have to be spontaneous with your buddhi, basically, in Sattva, you know.
So can we say that in this case, the deliberation should be done very quickly, or should be done before, or in case of good spontaneity?
I would say that it's probably working while you're moving. It's a good question, but that's why I'm saying that word spontaneous may not be the perfect word to describe it. Because it's like acting, because as soon as you say act spontaneously, if I were an actor, I would think, okay, within the realms of what's appropriate in the acting world. You know what I mean? So it'd probably be right at the beginning, and then I'm going to be spontaneous within this container, Yeah. But like when you see a cat, do you think a cat's like, oh, it's Christmas, I shouldn't jump on the tree because the grandma's ornament that's 100 years old, so this is like really like a blatant disregard, So maybe we could even look up the definition of spontaneous and see if it's really fitting with the right description of how I'm describing it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Laduli?
Yes. Yes, so I just want to share that this week I find someone to plan for the at least 2 weeks coming. So
Good.
we'll see. Yeah, so we met
Nice.
and we made a very nice plan about what we will do each week, which senses we are going to work on,
Very good.
and how we will meet to exchange our experience.
Good job. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you compared to before you had an accountability ally, like the week before or whatever?
Well, I feel very happy about that because I feel supported.
Yeah.
And the fact of sharing makes me feel really blissful.
Really what?
Blissful.
Blissful.
Yeah.
Nice. Having somebody to share with, because otherwise you're on your own, and it's so easy to just drop it. We're all doing so much else in our life, right? To just be like, no, never mind, or I did enough, But when you have somebody and that's your sole purpose of meeting, is talking about that, and it's exciting to share, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can inspire each other too. When you're like, oh, I did this, and they're like, oh, that's pretty easy. I could do that too, right? Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
And just maybe about what Vera asked, if I can share the experience I had.
Sure.
So I remember when we made the taste with the plate, I remember that I saw the two pieces of chocolates. And a thought came to my mind, different thought. Oh, actually, I like the milk chocolate. It's going to be amazing. And the dark chocolate is not. But finally, I closed my eyes, not to see what was going on. And then I realized that actually the milk chocolate, I didn't like it, And finally, I really enjoyed more the dark chocolate.
Interesting.
Just to share.
This is very good. So when you so once the eyes were closed and you put the milk chocolate in your mouth, before you said, "Ew, I don't like it," did you have a thought?
No.
Okay.
No.
So is that what you're asking? Like, that's what I'm wondering for you, Vera. Is that what you're asking? Like with the milk chocolate, as Lada's example, the eyes are closed. So imagine you don't see it. We're just using the sense of taste, right? Before she actually said, "Ooh, I don't like it," was there a thought? Is that your question?
The question is that the emotion is not coming from nowhere, is it?
It's coming as a reaction to the...
It's coming as a reaction to something.
To the input to the sense.
So is it a thought which creates the emotion coming?
Okay. So we have two different things. So one is it a thought which creates the emotion, and I'm talking about thoughts and feelings, which is also something different. So we'll get clarification, and when I come back, I'll answer that. Good, thank you. Anyone else want to share anything? Is there anybody online who wants to share anything about manas before we close the manas chapter? Can you see anybody online? No? Okay.
Say something. So
Sure.
I noticed how the absence of a plan really has an impact also on how much then actually materializes.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't have a plan, then it's probably not going to happen, right? And so, and even just the act of making a plan, what one do you think that's in? Sattva, Rajas, or Tamas? Who would most likely, with what mind type, would be the one to make the plan? The Sattvic person, the Rajasic, or the Tamasic? Rajasic? Sattvic. Sattvic is very regulated, and they make plans, and they follow their plans, you know? So even just to say, okay, I want to Sattvasize my mind, even just making the plan, you're already Sattvasizing your mind. And if you're in the Rajas mode, you're going to put like 5,000 things to do. It's going to be like way over the top of what you're going to do. If you're in the Tamas mode, you're not going to make a plan. But if you're saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this, you know, like this, I think this is the third time I've invited you to do it, right? So now you're like, okay, now what about I try it? I'm going to try it for 3 weeks, and I might even get an accountability ally. All that is sattvic. And just try to not slip back into rajas and do too much. You can do one very small thing, like this is simple. Yeah, I'm wearing dark, you know, but I put white, so now here I am. See, this is not that hard. Sattvasize. So that's already check for one day, you know. So try simple, you know, and you can do it with food. You can decide what you want to do it with first. Whatever's the easiest sense for you. You know, maybe it's with music. Then you don't have to change anything else, but just put the sattvic music on, you know, something or other things for the sense of hearing. You're already listening to Babaji's class. Maybe you could add one extra kirtan to listen to, you know. Anyway, so, and your buddy will inspire you through talking. Okay, so good luck with that over the next few weeks. I'll see you guys on January 13th, and we're going to start digging into ahankara, and we'll be there for a while. Ahankara is going to, when you start hearing about it, it's going to make you laugh, it's going to make you cry, and everything in between. So manas is the smallest one in terms of what I want to present. And we spent quite a long time on that. So ahankara, it could be a few months, is my guess. Might be the rest, maybe 3 months. Let's see. But there's a lot we have to look at. That's our biggest one. Okay? So thank you guys for being here. Have a good holiday. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Joshika.
Thank you. Haribol Janaki.